Good afternoon. The Audible is on the air Friday afternoon, 2 days to kick off the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. The home opener at Hard Rock Stadium. Should be a lot of fun out there. Joining me today, former Dolphin tight end and color commentator on the radio broadcast on our flagship station, WQAM 560 here in Miami. Joe Rose, you're listening to The Audible. You can catch us on Miami Dolphins Facebook page. Obviously, if you're seeing us right now on the Miami Dolphins Facebook page, you know that we are live. You can catch us on MiamiDolphins.com, on Periscope, and you can send your questions in via Facebook. We'll answer as many of the questions as we can via the Miami Dolphins Facebook page. And if you want to catch any of the older shows, you can catch the archives both on MiamiDolphins.com and the Miami Dolphins Facebook page. I think I covered it all, Joe.
You're really good on that social media
Yes,
stuff
ma'am.
because most of that stuff goes right over my huge head,
I'm
man.
tweeting,
You're good.
I'm this, I'm that, I'm
good.
Snapchatting, I'm looking on this and that, I'm looking at cats that do stupid things all day long on Facebook. That seems to be my way to go. Speaking about doing stupid things, the Dolphins can't do any stupid things on Sunday, Joe. They got to get off the snide here. Yeah. And the other thing, Joe, you know, it's not a new stadium, but they put a lot of money, $500 million into that thing. And when you walk in it feels like a new stadium.
It does feel like a new stadium.
And it's time for the Dolphins to turn the leaf over and create a new home field advantage, a true home field advantage in this building right now. And it should start on Sunday against a Cleveland Brown team that's, A, not very good, 2, beat up and injured, and 3, I'm not sure that that's a franchise that really cares that much about winning right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is just what the doctor ordered. The Cleveland Browns coming to town. I'm with you. We got Cody Kessler starting at quarterback, their third guy making his
former
first
USC
start.
Trojan, man.
Former USC third-round pick, but Bo, this is a game. You've come close. Both games, They're over. Let's talk about taking care of home field advantage, and it starts with the Cleveland Browns. They're on your schedule. Hey, they got a bunch of good players. I've been listening all week, but you got to get after them. You got to put pressure. And, Bo, my theme for this week is fast start for the Miami Dolphins. Get off to a fast start. Defensively, get a 3-and-out, get off the field. And for this offense, get a nice opening drive going. Get your crowd behind it. You don't want everybody going, oh, no, here we go again. Let's get some positive thoughts, positive vibes going throughout that stadium.
I'll tell you what I would do. For the first 2 games, the Dolphins have won the toss, and they've deferred each time.
Yes.
You know what? This time, just because of where it is, just because what you want to do, because of the slow starts, if I win the toss this time, I want the football. I want to put it in the hands of my offense, and I'm going to challenge you guys. Drive the ball down the field. Put some points on the board. No 3-and-outs. Let's get this game started the way we want to get it started rather than let them have a chance to put points on the board, and then we're playing from behind again.
Well, I'm with you, man. If you win that coin flip this week, go take the ball and get out there and look, Adam Gase is an aggressive guy.
I understand getting the ball first in the second half. I understand that. But where we've done the way we started the last 2 weeks, I think they need a jump start, Joe. I really do.
I got you. I'm with you.
Let's take a look at some of before we get to some of the questions, let's go ahead and look at some of let me give you the injury report. Dolphins playing, you know who's out. Mike Pouncey's out. Arian Foster is out. Everyone else is probably going to play, but they're all questionable. The only person that didn't practice today was Jason Jones, but we're hearing that he's probably going to play in the ball game. Xavier Howard, Jelani Jenkins, Koa Misi, Devontae Parker, Spencer Paysinger, all of them were limited, but they're questionable for the game, but they're all going to play. Not the same for the Cleveland Browns. Corey Coleman, the rookie receiver that's playing very well for him, done a good job, 2 touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens in that football game. He's out. He broke his hand Wednesday during practice.
How about that one? You talk about a franchise that's got problems, and in practice he gets hurt, not even in the game.
Yep. Ibrahim Campbell is out, cornerback. Cam Irving, center, he's out. Joe Hayden is questionable. Another, the best defensive player is going to be hampered out there. Josh McCown, we know he's out. Patrick Murray, the kicker, he's questionable. Carl Nassib, defensive line. Stephen Pia, defensive line. Danny Shelton, defensive line. They're all full. They're good to go. And Joe Thomas missed a practice this week, but he's fine. But that's the situation now. And you look at the football team that their best players the key players, Cody Kessler, Isaiah Crowell, the running back, and that's another odd thing that the Dolphins need to do. They need to figure out how to stop a running game, and they got a guy here that rushed he's got 195 yards in 2 games, had 133 yards last year, so they've got to do something to shut him down. Corey Coleman told you he's out. That means that Terrell Pryor Sr., I don't know, Terrell Pryor Sr., but anyway, the wide receiver, he's going to be the guy that's going to get a little more balls there. And how much do you think we're going to see of our good friend Duke Johnson?
I think Duke's, it looks like he's kind of taking role as the second and third and long situation. They're going to get him the ball. And he's coming back home out of Norland High School, went to UM. He's going to be fired up to get back in here. But, Bo, you hit it right there. They're going to try to run the rock, man. They're going to they don't want their rookie quarterback throwing the ball 35 times trying to play catch-up. They want to stay in this game where they can run the football, play field position, try to get some takeaways on defense, keep it in a low-scoring game. I think that's what they want to do.
Run that clock down. Matt Gillette sends in a question. How do the Dolphins get out of the slow start cycle and start off strong this week in the first half? Well, I kind of gave you my 2 cents. I'd like to have the football on the first possession and then force that ball down the field and get your offense kickstarted. Because, to me, Joe, and we've talked to Adam Gase a lot about this, the idea of his offense is to, get first downs, move the ball, keep that defense on the field, try to wear them out by the third and the fourth quarter, and then take advantage of them there. You can't do that, Joe, when you punt the ball 4 or 5 times in the first half of a football game that we've seen, quite frankly, for the last 2 weeks.
They got to get it. I was thinking about this. I think we're going to see a lot of Kenyon Drake this week, who looks to be the most explosive running back they have, the fastest, the big play guy. And I think you're going to see more Kenyon Drake in there. We haven't talked a lot about that. Jay Ajayi still going to get a chance, but I think he's on a short leash, Bo, fumbling the ball, and I think he could lose all his snaps if that happens again. So I know they've really coached him up on you gotta put 2 hands on the football and you can't fumble. But the other guy this is great news coming out. Devontae Parker, after a rusty first half, 0 for 4 in targets, had 4 balls thrown to him, didn't catch any. Second half, 8 of 9, ends up with 8 catches. The 9th one was thrown in the end zone at the end of that game with a chance to tie it up. He goes over 100 yards. I think by Devontae Parker, we saw potentially how good he can be. I mean, his ability is ridiculous. The one-hand catch going down the side. Bo, it helps Landry. It helps Kenny Stills. I think they got to get the ball, those 3 guys.
Helps the tight ends, too. Kind of clears that middle out a little bit.
We saw that with Cameron, much better.
Exactly. So a lot of good things going on there. And look, I think the thing with Devontae, Joe, and we all feel the same way, we never question his ability. What we question was his ability to stay on the football field. And that's what he's got to get over. And so far, right now, he's in pretty good shape. I mean, we should see a lot of him this week. You're listening to the Audible here. You're watching us on the Miami Dolphins Facebook page. You can also check us out on MiamiDolphins.com. We're also on Periscope. You can go ahead and send your questions in through through the Miami Dolphins Facebook page, and we'll keep answering the questions. Clayton Knowles, when healthy, can our D-line be as effective and game-changing as the Broncos or the Rams D-line? I think we can be as good as those D-lines. I don't feel we're that far away from that.
I love our tackles. I spent all week talking about how good Jordan Phillips and of course Ndamukong Suh, maybe one of his best games he's ever played in a Dolphins uniform. It's kind of hard to say when you see him get run on the way the New England Patriots were able to do, but those 2 guys, and I have talked a lot to Coach Washburn, and I know you have too, about how good Jordan Phillips. He thinks he's got a chance to be Pro Bowl good this year. He thinks he's that good, so he's really coming around. I feel good about our tackles. I want to feel better about the guys on the outside one-on-one. We got to win some of those battles. Cam's got to get it going a little bit more. He had a sack called back, kind of lost last week because of a penalty. We got to get the other guy going, Mario Williams, who didn't practice at all last week. Said he felt sluggish when you can't even go out there and do anything, Bo. So he's looking for a bounce back at home.
But the other thing, Joe, is that they've got to be more effective at stopping the running game. Well, you've got to get them in second and longs, third and longs. You can't sit there when it's 2nd down and 4, and they've got to they can go run pass, do whatever they want to do, play action at that point. So they've got to dictate the line of scrimmage when it comes to the running game to put them in pass situations so they can be effective as those types of teams.
Yeah, those 2nd and long, 3rd and long would sure help a lot.
Yes, I'm going to answer the next question. Yes, Brandon DePuma Silva. We believe that name, Joe? That's a pretty good name right there.
By the way, if it's that's a heck of a name.
No one makes up a name like that.
That's pretty good.
Will Landry have a big day on Sunday? Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He by the way, he is still the go-to guy. Jarvis Landry might catch 120 or 130 footballs this year. He's a go-to guy. He wants to give me, by the way, if you got a 53-man roster, give me 35 Jarvis Landrys.
Give me 10. Don't get greedy. Give me 10.
I'll take 10. He's going to get the rock thrown to him. He's one-on-one. You can look for him on crossing routes, down the middle. He's going to get first downs. He's always going to be his go-to guy.
And I'll tell you what, he ran some people over last week.
Oh, my
He
gosh.
ran some. That over on the sideline, far
Malcolm
sideline.
Butler, hello, how are you?
Malcolm Butler, how did it feel having the back of your head be the first thing to hit the ground after Jarvis came through your way? Chris O'Connor, if the Dolphins lose on Sunday, can we officially call this a rebuilding year? Well, you know, to be honest with you, I hate to say it, but I think this is a rebuilding year, no matter what. But now, look, rebuilding doesn't mean that this team can't be a playoff team if they go on a run here. They've played some of they're in the midst of the toughest part of their season right now.
Right.
After this game, go up to Cincinnati. After that, a lot of games at home.
A lot of home games.
A lot of games that look to me to be winnable for you. They just got to go out and learn how to win football games. Yeah. Then you can get going there. But it doesn't mean you can't. Look, to me, rebuilding is getting some of these young guys in and giving them opportunities to play, letting them become better players. Jordan Phillips, letting him blossom and become a better player, and those guys. So, maybe you and I think of rebuilding in a different way, but look, every team is rebuilding. You're losing 40% of your players every year, so you're rebuilding to some degree, but however you want to call a rebuilding year, Joe, that's the way I see it.
I don't like to use rebuilding because you're trying to win every game, and you're putting your best players out there, whether they're 30 or 22. We just happen to have Bo, I think we've hit on a couple of drafts, and I haven't said that, especially you and I talk about franchise players for me are your ones and your twos. You got to hit on those guys. I'm starting to feel pretty good about this year's draft and last year's draft with ones and twos and how good they can be. And if you get some stuff out of the Kenyon Drakes of the world and guys like that, you're in real good shape. But I will say one thing off what he said. I think this is a big game. This is a game you got to win.
Yep.
I'd be really disappointed Monday morning to do talk radio and lose to the Cleveland Browns. I know you and I always say this when we get off the plane, and I want to share with everybody, hey, if we're going to lose to the Seattles, and if we lose to the Cincinnati team, and if we lose New England, I want to be, as we're getting on the plane and we got all these guys walking by us going, man, he had a good game. We lost, but that guy kicked butt. I want to see a bunch of guys have those kind of games. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. Andrew DeLuise, Bo, do you think we can win the turnover battle this week? I absolutely do. First of all, you got a rookie quarterback back there, a third-string guy. He's a rookie. You know this guy. He's going to have some butterflies in his stomach. He might have crows flying around in his stomach going into this game. I don't know that they're going to put the ball in his hand to throw down the field very much. Probably quick passing, get him out, short type of stuff. I don't think he's going to go deep down the field too often. But you know what? You've got to win the battle of the turnover battle, forcing fumbles, pulling the ball out of their hands. If they make a catch, make sure you hit them and try to separate them from the football. Do I think we can win the turnover battle? Yes, I think we can win the turnover battle. And, Joe, quite frankly, if they want to win this football game, they have to win the turnover battle.
Right, they got to get that. And I see Duke Johnson. I see a lot of short passes. They're guys, they want to get rid of the ball. They're going to steal a few things from New England. Let's be honest. They saw New England do some things in the slot. They're going to try to do it and get guys isolated, matchups they like as well, and let Kessler get rid of that ball quickly.
Some of these people amaze me. Some of the questions they ask here. They think guys can play forever, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you the question. Luis Hernandez, why not sign running back Noshawn Moreno?
Oh, man.
I would say, I would answer that question. Why don't we sign fullback Lusaka Polite? He hasn't played in 7 years.
Had that.
He hasn't played in 6 or 7 years.
That happen. I've heard that one.
Look, when a guy's time, I don't understand. When a guy's time is over, it's over. I think that Noshawn, the time he spent with us, that ended it. It was over.
He had one great game against New England, and he got hurt. That's how I remember. Had a great game against New England, then he got hurt, and he was done. So we got a bunch of young running backs that got to play.
Look. So Arians hurt, right? They kept 5 backs.
For a reason.
We still have Jay Ajayi. We still have Kenyon Drake. We still have Isaiah Peed. We still have Damian Williams. You still have 4 good and 2 still young running backs there that you can, that you want to see what they're all about. So I don't want to sign another old guy off the shelf to come here and take carries away from those young guys. I'd rather see more of Pede and more of Kenyon Drake and more of Damian Williams than the other two.
I'm a Damian guy myself. I'd like to see Damian.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of him too. So
I just think at some point, Bo, I go through this all the time. These coaches and the scouting department that spends millions and millions and millions of dollars, you got to get young guys that haven't had a lot of injuries that you think can play. There's a reason we have a preseason. You put the best guys out there and you play them. And we kept an extra guy. A lot of teams don't keep 5 running backs. They were expecting this to happen. They were prepared. It's not, oh no, Arian Foster's hurt again. We know he's been injured a lot. He's had a lot of surgeries. We got a lot of young guys. We'll be fine.
You're listening to the Audible here. Joe Rose, Kim Bokamper here with you. We're here with you Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 4:30. Go ahead and catch up. You can go ahead and send your questions via the Facebook page of the Miami Dolphins. El Chapo Jr. Now, I know that's not real.
El Chapo.
El Chapo Jr. El Chapo dug a tunnel, got his head out of the tunnel, just got to the keyboard, and got this question in for us.
What did El Chapo have in his hands as he was coming over here? Watch out, baby.
He had some money-making stuff there. El Chapo, with the Patriots winning 27-0, is that a good sign for our offense in the second half? We're going to answer the question, El Chapo, then you go back underground where you belong.
Strong right there. Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's about wins and losses, but we got to start with that because I don't want to start going, hey, we're close, oh boy. But I think the fact that they did play second half, I think mentally for this team and for their confidence.
It was the same defense in the second half that held us to 3 points in the first half.
That's correct.
Right? So
made some adjustment. I don't buy that prevent. People tried to sell me. They went prevent the whole second half. No, they didn't. We got on a roll. We got it going. Yeah. We had it going on the last drive. We ran out of time. I wish we had another minute left in New England.
No doubt. So, I think, look, you take some good things, but, the bad thing about that game, look, you 31 to 3, you can't fall behind that and think you're going to win a game.
In New England?
Yeah, but, you came back. Anthony Shake Felicio. Why not Ray Rice? You know why not Ray Rice. That's why.
I got a bunch of Ray Rice people this week, too.
Yeah, well.
Let Ray keep working out, will you? Leave Ray alone.
We got enough problems on our hands. Okay, now everyone's just throwing names at that. Ty Block Bleeder Dawkins.
Block Bleeder.
Whoa! What happened to AJ Hawk? I don't know what happened to AJ Hawk.
Obviously,
AJ Hawk couldn't play for that.
They brought in a bunch of veteran guys. Yep. They decided to go with Donald Butler of all their guys. Yep. Donald Butler's going to play a lot.
By the way, Donald Butler, is going to play here this week.
Going to rotate in on the outside with Jelani Jenkins. He'll get some snaps on that side, and also with Cole and Misi to rotate those guys.
Yeah, I think A.J. Hawk, one of those guys came out, good college player, had a pretty good career, but, what's funny, Joe, about the league these days now? Guys get in there, man, and they seem to drop off in a hurry. You know what I mean? Have some good 2-3 good. Kaepernick's a good example. 3-4 good years and then boom, off the face of the map.
Shocked at what happened in his career.
Yeah,
I mean, whether it's Harbaugh or injury bug, but he's really dropped off.
Matt wants to know, will getting Pouncey back help our running game? I think getting Pouncey back helps everything. Now, Anthony Steen, I got nothing bad to say about him. I think the guy has more than held his own in there. He's done a good job. He's done a good job with the calling the signals he has to call, making the changes he has to make the line of scrimmage. But now that one snap that you kind of let go when no one was looking is got to be taken care of. But I still would rather have Mike Pouncey in there leading the way.
Mike Pouncey,
both from an emotional standpoint, from an understanding, knowledge standpoint about the offense and how to make adjustments, and just the fact that he's a damn good player.
Yeah, listen, I expect him back maybe even next week. I think this might be the last game he misses, and he'll be back. He's telling us the other day, man, I want to play now, which tells me he's getting real close. And by the way, I know he hasn't played and people are frustrated. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
He is. He's got the goods from leverage to position to strength, and he's got a little dog in him, and we need some guys on that O-line got a little dog in them.
Yeah, I've had people send questions and asking, how about moving Mike to guard? Why would you want to move him to guard? I mean, those two guys are right.
Makes calls. He does
two guys
a
are right
lot
where they're
of
at it
things,
fine.
man.
I want Mike Pouncey where he should be at the center position. We talked about this already. Arvin Kelting. Do you think we'll see Donald Butler? Yeah, I think we'll see Donald Butler. I'm not sure how many plays we'll see Donald Butler, but we'll see Donald Butler. We talked about, so speaking of plays, Joe, big question this week. Everywhere you go, Cam Wake. 17 snaps last week.
Yeah.
We need to play Cam Wake more. We need to play Cam Wake more. I agree with that about Cam Wake, but Cam's not going to play unless you get him in passing situations. They're going to use Jason Jones. They're going to use 50. They're going to use Andre Branch in running situations, and they're going to bring Mario in, and they're going to bring Cam in.
Correct.
And if you can't if you can't force passing situations, those guys aren't going to play as much as they did.
Right.
I think Cam played 50 plays the week before in Seattle, and they said, no, that's too. They'd like to see 25, maybe 30 plays a game for Cam Wake, but they've got to force teams into passing situations if they want to do that.
Well, that's been a hot topic, and a lot of the writers, and I completely understand. You're 0-2, so you're looking at everything and looking. He's 34 years old, coming off an Achilles. They want to bring him back slowly. I want to see him playing football in late November and December and staying healthy and getting better and better. He'll get more snaps. But as Bo said, if we're not in second and long situations or third and long situations, and teams are constantly able to run on first down against us, then Cam, who for me, I don't want him playing the run a lot. I want him in long where he can just tee off and go.
Yeah, you got to be 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 4s.
Absolutely.
Cam's going to be standing over in the side. He'll be standing right next to me watching the game.
I can talk to both of you that way.
That's right. Jason Peters, is there talk about McFadden for Wake? I love these trade deals. Darren McFadden for Cam Wake. I haven't heard anything about that. This is
I
the
haven't
first
heard
I've
that
heard
either. And you want to talk about guys being injured?
Fantasy, this isn't a fantasy football show. So.
Is that if it's fantasy? Because that is a fantasy question.
Yeah.
McFadden has been injured a lot, and I'm guessing he's not going anywhere.
I take my chances with Cam Wake.
Yes,
no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Here's the best question. This is the best question I've ever had come in on this program so far. Alvin C. Oscar Foot.
Come on, Oscar Foot.
Oscar Foot. No, I know Alvin C. He's from the Oscar Foot family. They're very, 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 very prestigious family when it comes to the shoe business. It says, Joe.
Yeah.
Don't you ever sleep?
I don't sleep a lot. I was thinking, I just had a bunch of coffee, my second batch. I got a wife too at home. They're like, hey, are you ready to have coffee? I go, man, I just drank like 70 ounces this morning, honey. And we jumped on it again, 10 cups.
What kind?
Loaded. Well, I put the cream. I put all the bad stuff in it.
Oh, you're a double D man, right?
I am a double D man.
Yep.
Double D, and if I'm coming in, maybe dip a little McDonald's in there. I'm like falling in love with the McDonald's coffee too.
Nice, you're loving it.
But either way, and yes, I don't sleep a lot, man. I got a lot on my head. As you can see, it's a large head, and always a lot going on there, man.
All right, Jordan Murray. Why don't we see more Grant and Carew? Carew's not ready to get a big load work. He's got to understand. He's got to learn how to run routes better. He's got to learn to figure out where to line up. He's got to be in the right position.
Was that a shot when you said that? The Ryan Tannehill spends half that 25-second clock. Come here, go there,
watch
get him over here.
No.
Instead of trying to get you in the right play, I was like, what? Carew, line up where you're supposed to be. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a good player. We're having a little fun here, but there's a big drop off. They got three really good wide receivers.
I like Leonte Carew. I think he's going to be a very good player, but he's certainly not up to the speed of the three guys that we have in front of him. No question about that. And Grant, I think Grant just needs more time. We're seeing him return kicks, return punts when they want to put him in there. But when it comes to being part of the offense, I think he's got more to learn. He's got a lot more to learn before they're going to feel.
But we're going to see him.
There's
some specialty plays coming for him.
You can bet you can bet that Adam Gase has looked at Jakeem Grant and said, there's a lot of things we can do. But he's another guy who's got to know when you put him in the game that he's going to be where he needs to be and do what he's supposed to do. Lewis, so who will be the fall guy if the Dolphins go 6-10? I don't think anybody will be a fall guy. You've got a whole new staff here. I think there are probably some coaches on the staff, if they go 6-10, that may not be back next year.
Correct. He may make some.
But it's not going to be Adam Gase. I think Adam's in. He's got a long leash on him right now.
We got a really good Bo. I know you feel the same way. Adam Gase is 38 years old and really refreshing to be around. Yeah. He's got a great personality. He connects well with his 53-man roster. This is not a perfect 53-man roster. No. There's a reason Adam Gase got this job. We were 6-10 a year ago. We got to upgrade this thing. A lot of our work's got to take place in the offseason. Better drafts, better guys coming in, not to just go out and get top paid free agents. I think we're getting out of that market. Let's build it here, man.
And I think that's it, Joe. And if they go 6-10, all it means to me is they've got to have another good draft.
Correct.
Because look, we've learned over the years, and we've seen it, year after year after year, going and getting getting the no Sean Morenos and getting these guys that have 1 or 2 years left in them, maybe a year left in them. It just doesn't work out for you. So you've got to build that talent. You got to, especially with you're paying some guys some big money. You're paying Sue big. You're paying Sue big money, and you're paying Wake big money. You're paying Ryan big money, and every time you pay someone big money, it limits the amount of depth that you can have.
Right.
So if you can kind of start feeding it with the rookies and guys through the draft and free agency that way, rather than the big money, and I think that's the direction this team is going to be going in. I wouldn't expect to see a huge offseason where you sign another gigantic free agent out there. Kevin Hackinson, Joe, how's your knee therapy going? You had your knee problem with that tennis is starting to break you down a little bit, man.
Bo, it's amazing, and I don't know what this is. Like, I never had any knee problems playing, and I played tennis, and I've had both my knees scoped.
It's a tough game, that tennis.
I told you, there's got to get you out there. It can be real tough on that clay.
Yep, not going to do it. Dale Scarberry, what do we have to do or change to win on Sunday? I don't think they've got to change much, Joe. I think they've just got to. I think each guy's got to play a little bit better, and I think they've got to play. They've got to play their assignments better. They got to play their rules. If I'm a blocker and I've got to get to your outside shoulder and turn, I got to get to your outside shoulder. I can't be head up with you and try to wrestle with you. I've got to get there. If I'm a defensive guy, if my job is to two gap, which means I've got inside and outside gap, play down the line of scrimmage, I can't jump inside and commit and let the guy run outside me, or vice versa, go the other way. If my job is to stay here in two gap, I've got to do it. And I think if guys get to the point where when they learn that just do your job and do your job the best you can, then I think you see the cream start rising to the top.
I thought there were a lot of mental mistakes in that last game. Guys are just way too open. And again, if you got double team and you're clamping on a guy, one guy inside, one guy outside, well, you can't have a big hole there.
Yeah.
And you guys have got to play the way you're taught in practice is the reason you're going over it. And the second thing for me with this team is when you have plays go against you, well, some of these football teams we've had, like, oh no, here we go again. And all of a sudden it goes on for a quarter and a half, and nobody makes a play, man. We got to be talking about guys jumping up and batting a ball down, getting a strip sack, and jumping up, making a one-handed catch. And we need guys to step up and make plays.
One thing that the defense has been doing, they've been making teams drive the field. They're not hitting the big, long home run balls on you. They're having to march down the field. And the theory, the one of the defensive theories that a lot of coaches have is make them have more plays, because the more
a killer beast.
The more plays that they have, the more plays it takes them to get to the end zone, the better chance they have of making a mistake, and then you capitalize on.
I just heard Bill Arnsparger when you said
what we're not doing is we're not capitalizing on their mistakes when they make them. But when we make mistakes, boom, teams are pouncing on it, and they're getting, at least the first two teams that we've played this year. Miguel Castro, who is number 41, Byron Maxwell, and why is he still on the defense? Well, he's the best cornerback. He's one of the best cornerbacks that we've got out there. But Joe, Byron's he's got to tighten it up. He's got to play a little better. And you know what? To me, it was one of the signature plays of that game where the tight end Martellus Bennett catches the ball, boom, stiff arm, lay it on the ground. I'm running down the field. Can't have those plays.
His tackling was terrible. I know he talked about it in the last couple of days. It was awful. And you just got to come up and you got to play. I didn't think he had a very good game, but I thought he played well in the first game. This is bounce back. I think he kind of got called out a little bit. I think he's one of the guys that plays a lot better this week.
Joe, one of the things I think we've talked about, I've talked to a lot of people about it, cushion on coverage. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they're playing man or zone.
It is.
And sometimes it's, and sometimes you see a guy make a catch and you see a guy 3-4 yards off of him. Sometimes that's got to tie.
You're talking about Edelman, 3rd and 9.
I understand you're concerned about him going over the top.
Right.
But you know what? Until you go over the top, I'm going to play tight defense underneath.
Right. I'm with you. Edelman, 3rd and 9. It was one of the third and long situations, and I'm with you. I thought Maxwell's cushion was way too much. Too easy of a throw for a young quarterback.
Yeah, so got to see some of that. Yeah. Joe, it's an opportunity. Sunday's an opportunity for this football team, kind of turn the narrative around a little bit on this team. But they've got to come out and
urgency, man.
They've got to come out and quite frankly, they've got to come out and dominate this football team. You walk away from this game with a 3-point win or 2-point win, and you know what? You walk away scratching your head. Right?
Right.
I mean, this has got to be one of those games where you win by 10 points. If spread's 9.5 or 10 points, 10.5, whatever it is, you should be able to play be that type of team.
I know everybody's saying, hey, it's a must-win. But I don't know about must-win. But there should be urgency after you've lost these two. Bo brought up some great points. First of all, ownership spent a ton of money to make this stadium. How about a little pride to go out and play well at home, get your fans excited, and give us a little entertainment on both sides of the football. Give me something personally as a fan to feel good about Monday morning. Well, I know you feel a lot better Monday morning when we play well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we'd like to
get
see
after
that.
it, man. And, guys, they don't need to be called out. You know when you play well and you don't. There's no secret. Come back and play well at home against the Browns.
All right, so it's the Dolphins and the Browns, 1 o'clock, Hard Rock Stadium.
Is that it, Bo?
Should be rocking. That's it. It's a half hour, Joe. We've been a half hour on the air.
It's only 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Hey, do you guys mind if we keep this show going, or do we have to go? I've got nothing to do.
You need to talk to Neon Leon back there, my producer. He's in charge of everything that goes on in there.
What a pain in the butt that guy.
He's the worst,
absolute
worst. But
that guy. Forget it.
Hey, you know what? When you're when he's willing to take $250 an hour to work, that's what you get what you pay for. Got to go right now. Look, he even made a note. Gotta go. For Joe Rose, I'm Kim Bokamper. We'll see you Monday on the Audible. Have a good weekend. Let's look for a Dolphin win on Sunday.